What's going on, everybody? Jeff Porter from Roll for New GM. I am finally back today. Came down with a little bit of a sickness last week. Wasn't able to record anything, but Friday, Kobold Press came out with their dev diary, and I really wanted to talk about it. They kind of came out and addressed some of the things that we had previously talked about. We read through the playtest a little bit. We talked about how it didn't really feel like they were straying too far away from 5e, and they've come out. They've said some things about it, so we're going to check this out real fast. So this came out Friday. It's been a couple of days throughout the weekend, and I wanted to get to it before it was too late. So in this, they say playtest packet number 1 for Project Black Flag has been available since last Monday. There are lots of questions, so we asked our senior game designer Celeste Sanowich to reveal her thoughts in a new design diary. Look for this as a monthly feature during playtesting. So I think this is another great thing for them to do. Not only every Friday they putting out a little thing about Project Black Flag, but a design diary where we can kind of see what's going on behind the scenes and kind of what they're thinking. I think it'll be a little bit better. So this is pretty long. I don't know that we're going to go through all of this, but there were some main points that I really wanted to go through. So talking about the playtest, what is the point? In the hustle and bustle of an exciting new project, we have heard that you want to know the point of it. Why make a 5e clone? Again, this was a big thing that was brought up a lot in the last video that we did about Kobold Press. Why aren't they doing a little bit more to change it? Like, why is it so close to 5e? It's not exactly what a lot of players are looking for right now, but it's the way that they're going. So why not tear up all the previous 5e projects and start from scratch? So let's start there. So it's time for the monopoly on D&D to end. This is a wildly exciting time to make TTRPGs as we stare down the possibility of an RPG future not ruled by one master game under the control of one master company. By the way, if you're interested in new TTRPGs, remember to like and subscribe because we are developing our own TTRPG over at Astral Door Gaming. You can check out the link in the description below. We have a new action economy system, a new spell casting system. We're working really hard on it. We're doing play testing. I want to say in March. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to record it, put it out here on YouTube so you guys can all see what's going on. So remember to stay up with that. One of our Wise team members said something that I think about almost daily. This game has meant too much for us for too long to let it remain owned by just one company. And they are right. I love D&D. I've played every edition, bought hundreds of books, and my fondest memories are built on this game. I would go so far as to say, if not for D&D, I don't know if I would be here today. I am not ready to give it up or let its future be controlled by a single company. We know many of you feel the same way. So again, talking about, WoTC, everything that they did, trying to screw over creators. So Kobold Press was like, well, we're going to do our own thing with blackjack and hookers. That's why we are keeping all the good of 5e alive and to make it better. That's why we are raising the flag to declare that we will be here to keep the candle burning no matter what shareholders plan in some distant tower. So they go on to talk about 5.5e, not 1D&D, about their own version of this, and not moving forward with 1D&D. So wait, what are you changing? You heard me. We're changing stuff that needs to be changed and doing it in a way that respects your current 5e library and keeps it useful. That's what we mean when we say the mystic words backward compatible. So that was the big thing going into this, was everything that they had already created, all their 5e content, all the content that you've probably already bought, all the stuff on DM's Guild, Drive Through RPG, all the third-party content that you've bought and paid for. They wanted to be able to use that still. And so if you're going to make something backwards compatible, you kind of got to have, the same system going on. So there's not a whole lot that they can change. But it seems they're doing what they can, but it may not be enough. It just kind of depends on where you're at with D&D right now. If you want to step away from 5e, and if you're kind of hoping for a completely new system, this isn't the way for you to go. you want to follow my game. We're also trying to do that in a way that won't make PCs or GMs want to cry in frustration. Those are all some big asks, but we're trying to do it all anyway because you, a fellow D&D lover, deserve to have it all. So talking about creating the changes, but keeping it similar enough that everything still works. So how Black Flag gives 5e power to the people. We've heard people say, but why? The SRD is in Creative Commons now. We invite you to re-look at the SRD and note just how much beloved 5e stuff is not in it. Do you want to just play a champion fighter until the end of time? Neither do we. So here's a list of a few things other Kobold designers and I are creating as replacements for the Great Core Rulebook bits that we all wish were in the SRD. So this is kind of where they're, creating the content. So there's going to be alternatives to the player's handbook subclasses missing in the SRD. So they're going to make a whole bunch of new subclasses. I might throw my hat into the ring for some new content there. I have a whole bunch of subclasses that I've created. I don't know. I'm kind of waiting, see what happens. Reimagining the feats missing from the SRD as talents. Spoiler alert, it's all of them except Grappler. All right, so that's the thing too with we saw in the playtest number 1 was talents. So there's going to be martial talents, utility talents, and spellcasting talents, which is essentially their feat system. Lore text for every monster in the SRD, only stat blocks are in the SRD. So they talk a little bit about the playtest packet number 1 and what they changed, what they added. We talked about the lineage and heritage system. Again, that's just them trying to make it a little bit different, introducing the talent system and then reworking backgrounds. So again, this is stuff that we've already gone over. This is stuff that we've seen, stuff that we read in the playtest. Not really any new information here. So looking forward, what is the Kobold design team working on? So if we've heard anything loud and clear from playtest packet number 1 feedback so far, it's this. We want more and we want it now. That's awesome. We want to give it to you all right now, but we can't. We have to be sad just like you and roll it out in bite-sized playtest pieces. I think we can all agree that this is another instance of why being a non-variant human is the worst. A little humor there. But we can give you a list of big picture goals we are working towards to make this game even better. So here are some big goals. Make the rules easier to read and understand. Yeah, I think that would be nice. I don't know why D&D had the language that it did, the wording that it did. It kind of made things overcomplicated to an extent where, you had the rules as written in the way that they wrote the rules. Like I ended up learning it because I was creating my own content for it. But it is kind of wonky. And I never really understood, like, why not just simplify it a little bit? We all know what we're talking about here. We all know what we're playing. We don't have to have this lawyer-esque way of writing a spell. I understand that they wanted it to be specific so there was no confusion, but at the same time, they just added a lot of confusion. Provide tools to reduce GM burden. Encounter building tools, exploration encounter tools, social encounter tools, etc. That is also something I am working on for my TTRPG, especially the encounter building tool. We have a really cool system with our stat blocks where, I don't know if I want to give too much away, but if you have a bandit, there's, a melee bandit, a spellcasting bandit, stuff like that. And we've made it easy where you can drag and drop in a lot of different things. So if you want a melee bandit, you can drag and drop if he has a great sword, different melee abilities that he has. Whereas if you have a spellcasting bandit, you can drag and drop. It'll give you the template, and then you can just pick and choose what you want it to have. So instead of just having a bandit mage where it has Firebolt and Ice Blast, there'll be that, but the design template will be where you can drag and drop whatever you want. So that spellcasting bandit could be a mage, could be a cleric, could be a warlock, whatever you wanted to do. It'll have the template, you just drag and drop. So that's something that we're working on to make it easier to design and to build your own encounters. rebalance a whole lot of existing junk, especially feats and classes. I'm not sure what that means. Rebalancing a whole lot of junk. Um, I guess some feats, people, especially min maxers, really focus on instead of going more for a thematic character. Maybe they're working on, toning some of those down. I'm not incredibly sure what that means. Provide opportunities for PCs to make meaningful choices at higher levels. Again, kind of vague, not really entirely sure what that means. And then make spellcasting feel cooler. Again, a little sneaky snake. We've made spellcasting very cool. So there you have it. A design diary full of hope, big dreams, and frank explanations. Before I sign off here, I want to say thank you. In the midst of this major undertaking, you have reminded us that we needed to stop for a minute and explain where the heck we're going. We heard you, and you are so right. Again, you deserve it all, so I can't wait to share more with you when the next packet drops. Until then, happy rolling. So this is I do like touching base and seeing where they're at, what they're doing, what their plans are. Some of it's a little vague. I wish they would have just, been a little more upfront about, this is how we're rebalancing things and this is what we're adding. But all in all, I think it's a good idea. The design diary, I wish it was more than once a month, but I get it. As far as the packets, we've gotten that first one so far. It was pretty lackluster. But I was going through the comments on the video, and a lot of you kind of shared the same thoughts, I think, that I did, where we were kind of expecting a little bit more, a little bit of a letdown, but at the same time, this is kind of what we should have expected. I think we had our hopes set too high. I think we're expecting a little bit too much. When Kobold Press said that, all the 5e content and everything was going to be backwards compatible, I think that should have been a clue, that they're, sticking with 5e and just changing it up, kind of putting their own spin on it. So by no means is this going to be a brand new, completely different system, a new TTRPG. It is very much, like I said, a 5.5e, and that's completely fine. That's how Pathfinder started, and now Pathfinder 2nd Edition is very much its own game. So I could see this, down the line in a couple of years, looking back and going, oh, you know what? I can see that. I can see where they were going. So I think this is a great start for Kobold Press. Again, it was a little lackluster. I'm with you. I agree. But at the same time, probably what we should have expected. So it's nice for them to kind of touch base with us, show us where they're going. There's nothing worse than being in the dark, and they kind of show a little bit of light about, what they're planning, what they're looking forward to. And overall, I'm still excited. So it's gonna be easy to create content for it still. And I'll probably throw some more stuff out there after I get my TTRPG done. And yeah, I think this is, it's a good first step. So again, remember to like and subscribe. I got a bunch of new content coming out this week that we didn't get to last week. I just, like I said, I was down with the sickness. So some cool miniature stuff. And then I think we're gonna do kind of a little sneak peek at our game, so you guys can kind of. I've been talking about it quite a bit here and there, off and on, for the last month, and do what Kobold Press did. Just touch base, show you where I'm at, show you what I'm working on, and we'll go from there. So let me know down in the comments below what you think about the design diary, if you're looking forward to the Kobold Press 5.5, and until next time, friends.